Hello everyone, and today we'll be going over the Walking Dead comics' most disturbing moments. Now the comics is very different compared to the show. There is a lot of dark moments, and there will be some that I forgot, some that aren't going to be included. This shows ones that I thought were really, really dark. The first one we'll be talking over takes place in the story Fear the Hunters. These guys were basically the comics version of the termites. One day while in the wild, these guys decided to attack or hunt Rick and the gang. They would kidnap Dale and eat his leg. Then they left Dale legless and outside the church that Rick and the gang were staying at for a little while. As soon as Rick found out what they did to Dale, the group would head out and hunt the hunters. Rick went alone as a trap, and he talked to the main guy who was named Chris, who was basically Garrett. And this guy tried to justify them eating people by saying that they were hungry and they did it for survival, and that humans were much easier to hunt. It's also implied that these guys ate their kids. They tried to convince themselves by saying that in nature, if the bear eats the cub, the bear will live on, but if the bear dies, the cub will die anyway. This just pissed off Rick, and let it be known, these guys didn't live to see the sunrise. Number 4, Michonne and the Governor. This one is really, really fucked up. The Governor and Michonne's rivalry is very, very different in the comics. In the comics, Michonne would be tied, and the Governor would have his way with her, if you know what I mean. While Glenn was forced to listen. Michonne did get revenge. In a brutal way. Yeah. The death of Lori and the baby. The Walking Dead is no stranger to killing characters, but during the Governor attack, Rick, Lori, and Carl would try their best to run away and escape from the bullets. Lori was unlucky. She was shot in the back, and the bullet went through, hitting the baby. She would collapse and fall on top of the baby. Rick and Carl were unable to do anything else but run. Yeah, Robert Kirkman is an evil man. He's an evil man. Next up, we have Thomas Richards. This guy was basically arrested for tax fraud. Or that's what he said. He was actually in here for murder. During the prison arc, Maggie had two sisters. Two sisters that were his victims. Herschel, Maggie's father, was the first person to see them. Was to see the bodies. And I'm not going to show it, but they were decapitated. Let that be known. The next day, Andrea would be doing laundry, and Thomas would walk in on her. He would be talking to her, and the conversation would be hella awkward. And that's when he got the bright idea to take out his knife and saying, "So I could cut your head off." He would slash Andrea in the cheek, leaving a dark, deep cut. When Rick found out who he was and what he did, Rick beat the life out of him. Till Rick beat him up so bad that Rick's own hand was incredibly damaged. And he also says, "We're going to hang him." Rick was a badass in the comics, by the way. And for the final place, Ben killing his brother Billy. This part was messed up. So Ben and Billy were basically Lizzie and Mika in the in the comics. They had two parents that previously died, and these two kids were adopted by Andrea and Dale. Later on in the comics, way after the Governor attack, one of these kids, Ben, would be cutting up animals. Billy would encounter his brother, but he would be too scared to tell anybody in the group. This would cost him his life, as Ben killed Billy. He would justify this saying that his brother would come back because he didn't hurt his brain. Basically thinking the walkers were just different. The group would debate on what to do with the kid because they didn't know what to do. The kid was crazy. Abraham suggested to kill the kid. Andrea got mad and walked away. So they decided to lock up the kid in the van. And that night, when nobody was looking, Carl would kill Ben. This moment will have an effect on Carl for years and years to come. And with that being said, that is my top 5 darkest Walking Dead moments. Now, even with the comics being really disturbing, I suggest if you haven't seen it, I suggest you have a look at it because it is really, really good. Like, The Walking Dead's quality in the comics stays at its peak for the longest. And anyways, with that being said, I suggest you check it out and subscribe for more Walking Dead content because I'm thinking of making more Walking Dead stuff. But anyways, see ya.